Hello and what is going on, lovely people of the internet? It is Hootmoney here with another video for you guys today. Today we're talking about Progenity or PROG stock. Once again, it was a pretty ugly day in the markets, not only for Progenity but other highly shorted stocks such as AMC, GameStop, Smile Direct Club, Sundial. DWAC was doing pretty poorly today, but then it rebounded up in after hours. CEI, pretty much everything. BBIG, they all took hits today for the most part. And Progenity is no exception to that. So these highly shorted stocks, and the entire stock market took a hit today. It wasn't just meme stocks, all right? So there's a good reason for any stock today to be down, all right? So it's not Progenity being singled out. It's not like it's having a minus 13% day when everything else is going to the sky, going to the moon. It's a lot different. So we're going to be doing that analysis on this. I hope I can give you guys not only what could happen in the potential short term, but also in a longer term perspective as well. So drop a like if you guys have not already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit that post notification down below, and let's get right into it. So here we have the chart for Progenity. We have the daily chart. You guys can see that it dipped below the 200-day moving average right there, which is that orange line, and the 50-day moving average. Now, what we have here on the daily chart is what looks like a golden cross, right? Because the orange line, which is the 200 moving average, and the blue line, which is the 50 moving average, they look like they're about to cross. I mean, you can see how close they are in price right here. Barely any difference, right? So once they do cross, that is the golden cross, and that is a bullish technical sign for any stock or asset. When it has a golden cross, it looks very, very good. So that is what's looking good for Progenity from this longer term perspective. Looking at the shorter term day-to-day price action, obviously we got that spike up yesterday all the way to 361. All right, so this thing was mooning yesterday, and it's given up an entire $1 in price since. And this is what I think is going to be the issue now when Progenity does spike up. Because you can't deny that there are a lot of retail investors in this stock, right? Not everyone in here is an institutional investor trying to get this thing for the long term. A lot of people bought into this thing expecting a short squeeze, right? And a lot of people have lost money. So when this thing does end up going up, like we saw yesterday, there's always going to be people coming in to sell that or try to get some of their money back. So that's always a risk. Obviously today, the O word hit America. So that is also a reason for the sell-off. Overall, Progenity is obviously in a downtrend. And just looking at what we can see here on the hourly chart, you just can't ignore the fact that a bunch of volume did pick up on this thing when it was being framed as a short squeeze play. A lot of people were in this thing for the short squeeze. And we're at a point now where the short squeeze is looking a lot less likely, which could definitely explain why we have dipped from $6.20 to $2.72. All right, I get it. This is a great company. Honestly, this is probably the best short squeeze company, highly shorted company that I have even talked about on this channel. Like, it's actually a phenomenal company in terms of what they're doing, their addressable market, and how much they can expand. But at least in the short term right now, long term is actually looking pretty decent. But in the short term, it's hard to say where this thing will end up, right? Because, you know, you can have a spike up, but it might be treated with a downwards push. Obviously, right now, we are in a downwards channel, right? It's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious what we're doing here. I don't want to be sitting here saying, oh, it's all going to be good. Just hold this thing for the long term if there is the opportunity for this thing to drop, right? Because, yes, I understand you guys are in this thing for the long term. A lot of you guys, right? But then we get price action within 48 hours, this thing dropping from $3.65 all the way down to $2.62. That's a hefty drop, guys. And I genuinely do care about people here. You don't know when the short-term bottom is. You don't know how long it's going to take for this thing to come back up. If you have long-term conviction, that is great. But I'm in the ballpark now that this might actually come down more before it does get better. And don't get me wrong, I do think this company will succeed long term, but I can't ignore the amounts of volume that came into this stock over the course of the last few months. And now that there is less of a chance of a short squeeze, I just think the volume does die down. And whales do agree with me, guys. The the whale flow has been a lot more bearish than it was leading up to the little squeeze that we got here, right? Up to 620. So in my personal opinion, I really do think this might get worse before it does get better. I'm not here to cause FUD. I'm quite literally just stating the facts. I mean, this is a volatile machine. We went from 363 down to 552 within the span of about 48 hours, less than 48 hours. So that's a lot to digest. And anyone who says, oh, just hodl it. I mean, everyone's in a different financial position. Some people can't afford to go through those amounts of swings, especially if they're overexposed. So you just have to understand all the risks, right? So I tried to mention these risks, not to scare anyone, not to cause FUD, but simply out of me caring. Looking here at the market cipher, market sniper, you guys can see there was the first yellow X right here, which is whale manipulation, and that was as of today. That was within today's trading hours, right? So there was a whale sell-off today, and this is likely due to the overall crash. I saw that yellow X on a lot of different stocks today. Also, you have to keep in mind it is still bearish money flow on this 4-hour time frame. The daily chart has bullish money flow, meaning that on a longer term perspective there's still money flowing into this stock, but once you get to the 4-hour chart, the lower time frame, it starts getting red. The hourly chart, it starts getting really red, right? The 15-minute chart, it's still very, very red, and it's been red. And even on the minute chart, it's starting to go a little green here, right? But it's still very, very overall red. So overall, it does seem like even if there are nice little jumps up right here, it'll be treated with a sell-off and probably go down a little bit lower. And this is just based off the short-term technicals of Progenity right now. But longer term, I still think there's probably some upside to Progenity. I'm not taking that off the table at all. Again, guys, money is still flowing into this on the longer time frames. It's just a bit of panic here in the short term. So if you're a long-term investor and you don't care about massive volatile swings in a stock, then continue to hold by all means. Anyways, guys, if you wanted to check out Market Cipher, you guys can see it pretty much predicts every single bounce right here on this hourly. Predicted it right here before it bounced up. Right here, it got another one before it jumped up a little bit, and it's predicting where to go short like almost every single time. These red X's as well. So it's very good at predicting just the momentum of a stock. So definitely worth checking out. There's a link below. Also Moomoo. If you guys like free money, the link's below in the description, pinned comment section. All you got to do is deposit $1. You can get up to $3,500 in free stock. By far the best promotion of any brokerage. It's worth checking out. Links below in the description or pinned comment section. And if you deposit $2,000, you can get up to 3 free stocks, up to $3,500 each. So that's a total of $10,500. Up to. You're not just gonna get $10,000, but you can get up to that by depositing. So it's definitely worth checking out. Again, guys, we're still here on this threshold list. We're gonna continue to be on this list for probably a while now. This thing is still being shorted. We go to Ortex right here. We have actually exceeded borrowed shares from returned shares. This is the first time we're seeing this in about 2 weeks. Utilization continues to drop just like I predicted the other days, which means that shorts actually did in fact get squeezed out of Progenity. There was in fact a short squeeze, did not get the parabolic price action that we anticipated. Not all shorts were squeezed out, but there was a decent amount of short covering, and that's dictated by the returned shares. And as you guys can see on this chart, yesterday was the first day that we got more shares put on loan than returned, meaning that shorts are starting to hammer back into this stock. Today we got the same thing. We got a rise in short interest as well. Fintel still has us at 62 on the short squeeze leaderboard, showing that the strength of the short squeeze is not as high. There's less shares available to be shorted as of today, but still a decent amount, about 500,000 right there. The borrow rate is coming down here again. We'll see what happens with that. Going down here, the short volume ratio is still very high. So short squeeze, guys, not as likely. Also here are the failure to delivers, but it's still decent. It's just not as likely. Coming into the whale flow right here, you guys can see we're doing 10,000 premium or more as side only to get a general understanding of whale sentiment in this stock. A lot of these call options for February of 2022 and April of 2022 all the call options that were placed were 2022, and then the put options were more short term. Like this one put option is expiring in 2 days from now. So this is expiring on Friday. This one's expiring end of December. This one is expiring middle of December. So when we pull up the charts right here, you guys can see it was a 60% bearish premium, but the bears are going for shorter time frames, right? And then the bulls are going for longer time frames. So this is pretty interesting. And then the bulls are going for some higher strike prices. Bears are going for some lower strike prices. And what this tells me is that it probably does get worse before it gets better, right? Because if the whales have any meaning, right, and it was completely bullish before this thing squeeze. It was completely bullish leading up to the squeeze, and now it's getting more bearish, right? But still, those longer time frames are still pretty bullish, right? So it might get a little bit worse, right? It might go down to like $2 or so. I don't want to make a price target, right? But it might go down just based off of that whale flow before it starts going up. But there still are bulls in here, right? You can't ignore that. There's 60% bearish premium, 40% bullish premium. Looking here at the historical flow, it is still at a very low value, so I don't expect any call options or options in general manipulating the price too much currently, just because the options volume is so low. And then when we're looking at the biggest trades of the day, the biggest one was buying a put, another one was selling a put $5. That one is a bullish trade right there. Selling of a call option, it's about 50% bullish and 50% bearish here. The most active chains right here were this 12-3 call option, 12-17 call option, another 12-17 call option, another 12-3. So just short dated call options. That is pretty much expected when you're seeing a stock like Progenity. This is a highly volatile stock, so there's a lot of speculation going on in options still, even though volume is coming down. Dark pool volume was a bit higher today, but it wasn't anything crazy. Anyways, guys, that's about it for the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. As always, Progenity is not looking as amazing as it once did, at least on the shorter time horizons, but there is still hope for the long term of Progenity. And like I said, guys, I've analyzed a bunch of these different short squeezes, doing the exact same analysis for Progenity. There's also a fundamental component which I don't always go over on my channel, but I definitely pay attention to. And Progenity genuinely is a way better company than some of these other ones that I've talked about. Just looking at something like bbig, for example, I really just don't like that company, all right? I don't like it at all. And Progenity is doing amazing things, not only in health, but just the world in general. And I just genuinely do believe that long-term Progenity will be a successful company, even if there is more pain in the short term. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you guys did. Subscribe for more. Hit that post notification bell down below. We go live, so be there at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning, 30 minutes before options open. I guess options open, but the market opens. And I'll be seeing you guys next time. Again, check out Moomoo for up to $3,500 in free stock for depositing $1. Links below, description, pin comment section. Anyways, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.